Hello and welcome to Good Games Well Played, episode 232. I'm Clint, aka JSam. With us this week is Isley,
Yo,
MSI.
Hello.
And we missed last week. Didn't have some folks around. There wasn't too much that we missed that was really important to necessarily go over. Just a couple funny things I saw was how I guess some players for Where Winds Meet were using these. They use AI in that game for the NPCs to come up with like chat and do dialogues, like text stuff. And
Whatever.
people were like circumventing some side quests to be like, repeating the question to the NPCs to like get it completed. Like, hey, like they'd give you riddles and then they like hit them with these essentially like certain prompts that would have the NPC think that they solved it, which is really funny. Uh, so there was that was going on. I thought that was amusing. It didn't work on every NPC, but or it's like the player has the item and they go, "Oh, congratulations, you found it." Like typing in the prompt like that, which I thought was hilarious. One of the other things was Helldivers 2 on PC had like a huge file size reduction. It went from like 154 gigs down to 23 gigs. I guess Sony, their Nix's studio, like helped create a super slim version for PC that reduced its file size. And like, brother, you gotta teach fucking Call of Duty how to do that shit because that game is too big.
I mean, let's be real, not just Call of Duty. I feel like every game that comes out nowadays is like 200 gigs.
But I mean, even like Helldivers, I'm like, you're not like, a God of War or something with like big, and you do have some big levels, but I'm like, you really are that big, like file size wise? And I guess, you know, 4K assets, I don't know, uncompressed audio or something. Like, what is going on?
I
But
think it's almost always uncompressed audio or like language tracks.
yeah, but a lot of games now, at least on console, like you can delete a bunch of extra tracks. Like they did that for the new Battlefield. Like it has all the different audio tracks you can languages you can download if you wanted. And then when you're done with stuff like, oh, you can delete the story campaign if you finished it. You can just have the multiplayer. But like Call of Duty's fucking like, oh, you want to play just Warzone? You got to download the launcher. You got to download the most recent Call of Duty, even though you're not going to play it. You got to download this and blah, blah. Like it makes you get a bunch of shit that you don't need, and it just takes up too much fucking space, man. It's out of control. Like the short little window that I actually played Warzone years ago was like, this game takes up too much space, and every update was just like, why is it getting bigger and bigger? But and then yeah, the not too much else outside of that. I know there was a thing with Bungie's marathon where they were concerned. There's like an asset apparently like lifted from poster designs by someone. I I forget who the artist was in one game. Like I don't remember this story initially, but they've since settled everything and like, oh, the issue's been resolved. So I'm assuming they just paid them a bunch of money and maybe took the stuff out of the game, perhaps. But like, all right, sure, that's over. But yeah, not much that we missed. And the big thing this week was the Game Awards that happened on Thursday. We actually had a pretty big show. Like I was surprised how many announcement was, especially compared to some previous years. Like they've had some big showcases. It's like, oh, and they like Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet was shown at the Game Awards as the one final thing.
Dude,
Um,
there were so many announcements. It was like an announcement every 30 seconds. It was too much.
Which is
yeah,
what
and
the show has become.
yeah, and a lot of sideline categories. Some I'm like, okay, like I don't. Why do they even have the esports section? Is one thing. Esports
Sponsorship.
has their own award show, I guess, but it's like they had all the Amazon ads because they were streaming on Amazon Prime, and so Amazon had like a lot of ads on there, which I forget the co-host's name, but they would kick to her and she would just read the ad and then it would go back to the show. I feel like
Yeah.
I gotta let her do a little more than that. Like she did. She hosted the pre-show, which I didn't watch. That started at 4:30, and again, the show's like the main show is over 3 hours long, so it's just like, come on, man. But there wasn't too
I
much
mean,
from the pre-show that necessarily stuck because we had a new trailer for Pragmata, and it's like, okay, with the release date of April 24th, it's like, all right. And then Celeste 2 had another trailer. There was a game shown off called Tank Rat, which is like a sci-fi vehicle combat game. Kind of remind me of like Tiny Tank back in the day. I don't know if you remember that game. But I'm like, yo, I'll play like a little game where like you're like a little robot and like you take over the scraps of like fallen tanks and then you can rebuild your own little tank. I'm like, that's kind of cool. I kind of like that. Like
Aw.
customize your vehicle. I'm like, that seems pretty dope. There's a game called Bradley the Badger, which I like just caught the end of. I think it was like one of the final trailers, and I went back and rewatched it. That one seemed interesting. It's like a puzzle game with some creative tools you can do, and it's like essentially it has, like, real world, cutscenes as well, kind of like Inscription, but, like, the guy, he ends up, like, going into the game somehow, and, like, inside you can kinda tweak the game how you want and, like, reshape the world, so it seems pretty interesting. I'm curious about that one. Has some, at least I'm interested in it. And then, yeah, that was pretty much the pre-show, and we're gonna go through kind of in order of what was shown. I'm not gonna cover everything, but I'm gonna cover the stuff I'm assuming
Because it would
most of
take
us would be.
5 hours since that game was
Right.
huge. Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm assuming maybe most of, so if I miss anything, just go ahead and, like, type it in chat or something if there's a game that I skipped over that, like, I'll put the link that I'm looking at because this is in order of, appearance, not just of importance. So, if I scroll past something while I'm going through it, just feel free to be like, "Oh, I
Mm.
wanna talk about this thing real quick." But yeah, they opened the show with, Star Wars: Fate of the Old Republic, which when I saw the ship, it was I went back, and what I do after award shows, I always like, or any game show with trailers, I watch reactions for, like, the big ones, and it's surprising, like, how many people didn't clock it as a Star Wars game. Like, when I saw the ship go past the planet and, like, you can actually see, I'm like, "That looks like that's a Star Wars ship." Like,
It has
straight
a
up.
very Star Wars vibe.
Right, I was like, especially after Andor just came out, I'm like, that kinda it's not exactly like Luthen's ship, but I'm like, "That's a Star Wars ship," like, straight up, and then when it lands and, like, I'm just for me, the question was, "Well, what Star Wars game is it?" It
Mhm.
can't be Jedi, can't imagine, uh, Jedi Survivor, one of those, but yeah, if it turns out to be Star Wars: Fate of the Old Republic, Casey Hudson's back, working on it. Obviously, he directed the OG Knights of the Old Republic game and, some other stuff, Mass Effect as well, but, I mean, I never played those. I don't know if either of you have played the Old Republic games previously. I know they're pretty
Oh my god,
Yeah, I mean, I've
years
played the hell
ago.
out of them. Yeah,
yeah.
but it's been so long, it's like, is it gonna hit even remotely the same? It's one of those games where, like, it came at a certain time in my life where it just made sense and it was new. So, will I play the new one? I don't know, maybe.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm really interested just because I know, like, the pedigree that that particular series had, and it's like, oh, it's the third one in the because it was what, Knights of the Old Republic and Knights of the Old Republic 2, and now this is, like, essentially the third, it's just Fate of the Old Republic.
Much like Mass Effect 3, I'm sure it will launch to critical acclaim.
Yeah, but, I'm interested in, like, obviously, there was no gameplay shown, but it's like a single player action RPG. I mean, I like the single player Star Wars games that I played recently with the 2 Jedi games, like, those are fun, so I'm sure I'll like this with more, like, actual RPG elements and not just an action adventure title that the other ones are, so I'm looking forward to it, could be really cool. And then they, came out, and the next trailer was for they had some people walk out, like, real people looking like they were from Midsummer, like I was saying earlier, before the recording, but then they get picked up in the air and, like, some weird stuff going on. It's like Cirque du Soleil up in there. And then it transitions to a game where people are doing I'm like, "Okay, this is kinda like when Sony had the stages set up for each of their games on the last E3 they attended, where it's like, "Oh, it's the hall from The Last of Us where they all have the dance that was in the trailer." But yeah, it turns out that this crazy trailer going on with this festival with these Wickerman statues and people being burned alive and lizard sex. It's,
Freaking brutal trailer.
I know,
Dude, that
right?
trailer went so hard in so many ways.
It just
I
kept going, and I was like, "Oh, they're doing that? Oh, I guess we're gonna do that too. Oh, okay, this is just they're just going all out is what happening."
Yeah, I was so distracted. I didn't clock the lizard people, like, the elves and whatnot, and I was like, "Okay, I get that." Like, if I had clocked the lizard men, I would've been like, "Oh, this is Divinity." But I didn't even notice. I was too busy like, "What is going on with this trailer?" And then, yeah, turns out that mystery statue, it's like, that's from this game, and it's Divinity is the name of the game.
Mhm.
I just I have to make the quick interjection of, like, the IGN comment of the title of, like, "What is Divinity? The new secret project from Larian," or whatever, and it's like the hidden gem. You might not have heard of Divinity before. And I'm like, "It's obviously a Divinity game."
Yeah,
Like, what
and,
do you
like,
think it is?
yeah, and Divinity: Original Sin 2 was big. Like, that's
Mhm.
why they got Baldur's Gate 3 is because of the success of Divinity: Original Sin 2, and that game came to console. I mean, I played both Divinity games on Original Sin games, I should say, on console. I never played the other Divinity titles, but I played those. And there's a lot of speculation, like, okay, is it like a soft reboot? Is it take place after Original Sin 2? There's, like, fan theories on who the old man is that's being burned alive. I'm like, that's interesting if it's true. But yeah, I'm like, what is going on here? Like, is it if it takes place after Original Sin 2, that would be curious because there is a lot that happens in that game. But yeah,
That
I'll be curious to see.
Yeah, that trailer just went so hard though. Like everything about it just captured clearly what the visceral nature of the game was, and I love that they leaned into the folk horror aspect of the world in order to kind of like create the story for the trailer. I thought the folk horror stuff was brilliant with the man like chained up inside of that Wicker Man thing. It was so gross, but in a great way.
I was like, and the other two that were there, those had people in them too, but we only cared about the one man, I guess.
Did they
Uh,
have it in them though?
I don't know. I wasn't really looking. I think it only focused on the one
I
guy,
know.
and
I
I
was like,
thought,
I wasn't really paying attention to see if they were there because like they focus so heavily on the guy in the middle, and then like the Wicker Man opens up and you can see him screaming and burning.
yeah. Uh, but yeah, I'm curious, like if the fan theories are right, if it's this one character from the games, the series rather, and it's like okay, because yeah, I'm there is a lot of stuff like spoilers for I guess the end of Divinity Original Sin 2, but like the gods all die, like they're done, like that part of that storyline is they get killed, and you have to stop the stuff that's coming. But yeah, I'm wondering like I don't know, like
It
how far into the future because all those games are like Divinity Original Sin 2 is really far past the first Divinity Original Sin, like time wise. Like you don't have to play the first game to play the second game because like they hardly outside of the lower books you can find, they don't reference the characters or events of that one.
it sort of seemed like in the trailer, my guess, I haven't read the fan theories online, but like my guess was, the gods are dead if this is really in the future, like a far, far future game, that it looked like a god coming back out when it like breaks out of the guy's back in the trailer and like spews up into the sky. It looked like it was like the re-emergence of something. But obviously, without contextualization of why they're stringing a man up. It also seems like they're worshiping gods, so there's that.
Mhm.
Yeah, or like because people think like, oh, maybe it's like fan theories thinks he's like a big main character from the game. It's like, okay, that'd be weird. But if it's like symbolic of the death of that character, like, oh, this this guy died, who was like, deified essentially, and then the world changed. Now we every year we sacrifice someone that looks like this dude, and then yada yada. But I'm wondering, yeah, because there's like this the void. I'm wondering like what else is in the void. Like there's this void dragon in that was imprisoned in the original sin, and the stuff that I won't go into the ending of Original Sin 2, but I'm wondering, like, okay, what else in the void is out there? Like, is something trying to fill like, was there something else in prison that got out? If, I don't know, like, what they're gonna do, like, did something rise to power because of the lack of, the gods anymore from the games? Like, is it just a couple 100 years in the future? Obviously, something like, thousands of years. It's like a Star Wars situation, like, oh, it's like 10,000 years, but it's still fantasy style. Like, okay, sure. But, yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Obviously, it's probably gonna be, like, kind of a ways off. I wish I could look at the timeline of when they announced, like, Original Sin, granted, it's a smaller game, and when it came out. When Divinity Original Sin 2 was announced and when that came out, and then because Baldur's Gate was in early access for a while, Baldur's Gate 3. I'm trying to remember the timeline of when that first got announced, that first trailer,
I'm
with the good.
I'm hoping that they realize that with the success of I feel like I mean I know that there are like 6 Divinity games, but I feel like Original Sin 2 was maybe the first one that kind of became more mainstream. But I feel like with the success of Original Sin 2 and then Baldur's Gate 3 that they will hopefully not do a scenario where they announce this and it takes like 6 years to finish, but more of one where they realize they're going to have eyes on them and it will be released or out sooner.
Yeah, let me look at the wiki for them and just see the game timeline release. Yeah, because Divinity Original Sin 2, yeah, because Original Sin was 2014. Later, they released the Enhanced Edition 2015, which is the version that came to consoles. 2017 was Original Sin 2, and they released the Definitive Edition 2018 is when it came to consoles. And then Baldur's Gate 3 was 2023, but that doesn't include early access because early access was like maybe a year like they had Act 1 in early access for quite a while. So I think maybe early access was 2022. So perhaps I mean that's 6 years between Original Sin 2 and like the official release days. So maybe it is, we're coming up on 2026. It'll be summer 2026 will be 3 years from the launch of Baldur's Gate 3. So maybe another 2 before the game comes out. So 2028, perhaps. I mean, maybe, you know.
Oh, that's so far.
Yeah, because so many games that I don't have all the release dates on here unless they tag them on, but like so many games at the award show were like 2026, and there were some that were 2027, but there's a lot of 2026 titles. Like as I was saying in Discord, like 2026 gonna be packed.
April
Yeah.
2026 seemed to get like a ton of them, but it felt like it was either like the game was coming out in April of next year or never. One of
Yeah.
those two.
Mhm.
Uh, and then, yeah, after that, we had J.J. Abrams and Mike Booth come out to talk about their new game. This is a story we missed from last week because we didn't record, but Sony teamed up with J.J. Abrams' team to help do publish the game that they're doing, which they announced now called Four Loop, which is like a four-player, run out, die. It's got contextual death, which I really like, kind of like Returnal. I really like contextualizing the death mechanic, but like it's a third person sci-fi shooter co-op games. Like, okay, you go out, you try something, you get killed, you get reprinted, you learn from your mistakes. I'm like, that could be an interesting game mechanic, but I'm curious how it'll be. But it's like, okay, sure. The co-op game from JJ Abrams, I guess. Maybe it's the story that he's mainly contributing to. Then we had a little game called Coven of the Chicken Foot.
It's so cute.
Plays an old lady. She's got chicken feet and got this little friendly looking helper. And then of course it ends with like a very ominous, like there's something else in these woods.
Oh, it's going to be insanely depressing and very sad, and I'll cry, but I love the little chicken foot grandma and I want to play it so bad.
Yeah. Last Guardian like. No, but
Mhm.
yeah, it'll be that looked interesting.
So cute.
And then we had a new game from Frictional, the folks who did Soma, called Ontos. It's a spiritual successor to that game, Stellan Skarsgård. It's funny going back to watching reactions, like the amount of people that didn't clock him immediately from his very unique voice. I'm like, do you not know who this is? Like, um, but yeah, it's by them. I mean, Soma was a good game, and this looks really interesting. I'm really coming out 2026 to everything, so I'm looking forward to it. Sure, Aisley is. He's muted right now, but he would say otherwise. He likes Soma, and he's very interested in this. He told me it's going to be his game of the year next year. He's so excited.
No, I was actually trying to remember. I'm like, what was my impression of Somo when I played it? I feel like I liked it. Um, God, I was actually thinking like, man, I should replay that. I feel like it was a really quick game.
Hmm.
It's not very long. Yeah.
Yeah,
I liked it. I thought it was cool.
And
It
they
was a
patched
I
good
it to
feel
make
like
it
light.
less scary.
I think I
Uh-huh.
got annoyed at the ending, and I think I got annoyed at it being kind of like more walking simulator. But I like the kind of moral quandaries it shows in the game.
Yeah, it was a fun game.
But
It,
yeah, I mean, I, I thought Antos, I'm sure it'll be great. It wasn't my game of show or anything, but I'm sure it'll be great.
I know, I just messed around. Yeah, it looks
It'll
really
be
good too. Like it
weird.
definitely a step up from Soma. Like it kind of reminded me of like it was the look of it felt very BioShocky as well. Like just the characters, the way they look kind of like or like Dishonored kind of style, Deathloop style, like kind of like that kind of style, like clean but messy or I don't know how to describe it, but like it yeah, cuz Soma is very much like it's more realistic and it's very grungy, which makes sense because of where you are in that game. But like tech wise, it seems like it's very improved if all of that is in engine that they were showing and not just like cutscenes. But I imagine it must have been if they were showing it. But yeah, that looks really cool. I'm looking forward to that one. Could be a fun game. Then we got another trailer for. I mean, there's a lot of new stuff, but we got another trailer for Resident Evil Requiem, which officially showed Leon the worst kept secret. I feel like because IGN spoiled it like way back in one of their things. Like, oh, and Leon's hair, and like they never
Mhm.
edited it out of the video, so it's like, okay,
Dude, I feel like it hasn't even been like a thing to be spoiled. I feel like it's been something that's been assumed since the literal announcement of the game.
yeah. They did say that it's kind of going to be like it's going to be dual protagonists where his sections are very much Resident Evil 4 style and her sections are very Resident Evil 2 style. Which could be Miss Ashcroft. Her section's going to be Resident Evil 2 style, which could be really fun. So it's like, okay, two of the best Resident Evils you get. And if you go, I'm wondering if it'll be like a back and forth, or if it's gonna be like first half her, second half him, or him is like how because like in Resident Evil 2, the remake, like you have that pretty big section you play as Ada, if you're playing Leon's campaign,
Mhm.
and then you go back to playing Leon, obviously. But when I think of like I'm trying to think of like Code Veronica had a pretty big split between the two. How you're playing, so I'm wondering how they'll pace it is what I'm curious about. But yeah, uh, it'll be fun. Looking forward to Resident Evil Requiem. It'll be a good time.
I
And
just
then good.
I honestly just hope that they give the new protagonist like an independent and good story independent of Leon,
Hmm.
because as much as I love Leon as a character and everything, I don't know, I really liked like 7 and stuff, and I would really love for them to set up a new cast of characters a little bit more independent from the old cast, or they need to like actually wrap shit up with the old cast.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. It does feel like okay, because they've had games where like you have. I'm trying to think like outside of like Survivor, Resident Evil Survivor, and Outbreak 2. I don't know if any of the other ones have. I guess Zero. Well, Zero has Rebecca, and she's in one. And then the what are the names of the games they were on? They were on handheld consoles first, like maybe Game Boy, maybe DS, and PS Vita. But it's like Barry Burton's in them, and it has I forget the girl's name.
Is that the Outbreak ones?
Now Outbreak's from PS2.
Oh.
It's like Resident Evil. It's like something the Umbrella Files or Umbrella Chronicles or something like that. Maybe.
Oh, Umbrella Chronicles.
Yeah,
That
like
was on,
though
Wii.
on Wii. Okay, yeah, like those have a character from one and then someone else.
They
So
have
it's like
a Wester in them.
yeah, but I like for playable characters like I said
Oh,
Barry
yeah, yeah.
Burton. I know he's because I play some of those with Flash for a bit, but yeah, like I'm trying to think if there's any mainline. Well, I guess 7 was the only one because you don't run into Chris until the very end of that game.
Right. But even
Yeah.
so, like, I guess what I don't want is I feel like the random cameos from other Resident Evil characters aren't written well enough to typically add stuff to the story. Like, even Chris showing up in 7 was kind of like, okay, guy, like, maybe just like you could have had the story completely without him and it basically would have been the same. Um, so
Mhm.
I would really like for them to continue that trend and just either wrap Leon in really well from the get-go or don't put him in it at all. But what I don't want is like Leon to show up in the 11th hour and save the day for some contrived random reason, because I
Yeah,
find that to be kind of tiring at this point with Resident Evil.
Especially when the main protagonist is female, like, just
Yes.
just leave it.
Yep.
Just let her have it.
Yep.
yeah, and I guess like anytime they have like the game is directly dealing with Umbrella, like 7 wasn't, so you don't need anybody from it because you're dealing with this whole isolated thing, and then he gets rescued by Chris, and then Village, it's like they kill his wife, and then he's at this village, and it's like okay, Umbrella's not there, but then they
It
have that expansion bit where Chris shows up and like fights people.
It
Um,
basically like it sort of feels like the Resident Evil games started with like, okay, here's the T virus or whichever one, the original one. And then they realized, okay, we can't keep using the same virus, so the storyline needs to adapt to be about this team going and dealing with different types of viruses all throughout the world, which was like, okay, that's a good evolution. But now it feels like it's evolving to this story structure where the Resident Evil games are, okay, here's an average person that has to deal with this horrible new outbreak of virus. But then at the very end of the game, someone from the core crew who's familiar with dealing with this virus is going to show up and save the day. And like that's super what I don't want for Requiem. But I'm still very
Mhm.
excited about the game, just like semi cautious about it.
yeah, no, I'm sure it'll be good. Then we had another trailer for the game Exodus, which we saw a while ago. It's like some sci-fi action RPG, like set in the far future, whatever. It's like okay, sure, why not? But it's from Wizards of the Coast, and they had another game shown off there with Trisha Halford walking out on stage and presenting Warlock, which is a Warlock Dungeons and Dragons.
Mhm.
And I had the description for it
Dude,
popped up.
that game looks
Miss
so average. I'm sorry.
well, it's just a CG trailer, like so. There's no gameplay, but the description I read, I'm like, oh, this could be fun. But I lost it where 'cause, obviously the Arkham reading is just as it was announced, but people had conversation with them. But it seems like it's very magic heavy, open world kind of thing. I'm like, okay, you're using magic to solve puzzles. I'm like, a lot of games have done that recently. There was one game I didn't play. I wish I remember the name of it, but used a lot of magic to do stuff. And then there was the game that I played that didn't do well, Immortals of Avium, where that's a lot of magic in that as an open world game, first person. So it's like has potential. It could be cool. It's like okay. I mean, if I'm just using dark magic a lot, I'm like that could be fun because now I'm not being like I gotta choose, do I wanna be good or evil? It's like, "Nah, you're using, like, dark magic. It's do it." It's like, "Okay, if you're gonna make me do it, let's do it. Come on, Trish, let's go be evil." Whatever. It's like, that's fine. So that could be fun, but I need to see gameplay, not just the CG trailer. And then we had the surprise announcement of bringing out more Cirque du Soleil of Control Resonant, and this was another one. I'm like, did no one play the Lake House DLC for Alan Wake 2? Because the character that is in the box with the P6 or whatever on his back, like there, you run into that guy in the Lake House DLC, uh, and so I'm like, does no one remember this like at all? Like no one played
Well,
it, I guess.
I think it's fair though because they're two totally different genres of game. So you basically had a cameo for what the next game would be in Alan Wake, which would be a horror game. And I do think that like while we played Alan Wake and Control, they are different genres. Like pretty
But they're
wildly
in the
different
same
genres.
world. Is
Yeah,
like
but they're
but they're
Mhm.
different
and they're both
genres. So
Remedy
like they wouldn't.
games.
Yeah, but like I'm saying it's a different audience that would play both of those games. So I'm not surprised that people that were big fans of Control might be like, I'm not really interested in the style of horror game that Alan Wake is. I'm not going to play Alan Wake.
That's crazy because I feel like the people who play Control were already Alan Wake fans, and they're like, "What is this game from the
I don't
studio
know.
that made this game that I love?" Like, I know
I
more
played
people who haven't played Control than people who haven't played Alan Wake 2.
I played Control first and thought it was great. And then I played Alan Wake 1 and was like, this game is fine. Like, question mark. And then I played Alan Wake 2 and was like, thank God I gave Alan Wake 2 a shot because Alan Wake 2 is great. But if you started with Alan Wake, I could absolutely see how you could be turned off to Control and Alan Wake 2 and would thus miss the cameo.
But I guess it's just like, again, because so many people played Alan Wake 2, and a lot of the and I'm not talking about just like Joe Schmo. I'm like, these are from reactors of their job is games. Like they should, if you're gonna commentate about games, do anything, like you should play games. So it's like it was interesting that just they didn't like they're all excited,
Gamer
but then
brain.
like half of them didn't play Control. Like, oh, I never played Control. I guess I'll play it. And, but they played Alan Wake 2, and I'm like, but it's just, yeah, it's just crazy because 'cause I'm like, it's not like a small cameo with this character, like, you have it's a big section in the game for the and granted, it could be one of those things where people just don't play DLC, that's probably what it is, but but yeah, it's like, "Does no one remember this guy?" I'm like,
I
I
mean,
guess not."
I watched a bit of Control and Alan Wake, I never actually played them, but I recognized immediately that it was at least Control adjacent.
Mhm.
And then also, I want to play it because the combat, it just looked fun. I hope that's actual gameplay, it looks fun. But
Yeah,
I
Combat.
it looked
yeah,
like
I
gameplay.
recognized immediately. I was like, "Is that the"
Yeah.
and then I was like, "This seems very, like Alan Wake Control weird." Like, it gets odd,
Well,
and then it showed the characters. I was like, "Is that the girl from Control?"
I mean, I
Yeah.
recognized it was a control game. I'm just saying, like, I wouldn't
Yeah.
be surprised if people didn't recognize the Alan Wake intro for it.
Well, like, that's fine, it's just it was weird how many game people didn't recognize the guy and just thought he was some new dude, and like,
You should
he
tell them they're not real gamers. Go
I
find
get
them and tell them that.
well, they'll
Be
say,
like,
"Well,
you're not a real gamer, bro.
The
I gotta
gamer
play
journalist issue.
so much stuff." Yeah, it's like, yeah, there was a lot of bad reactions to the show, I'll get into later, where it's just like, "You guys gotta this is not a reaction, you're E3 press coin it right now without doing what you said you're supposed to be doing." Anyways, but, yeah, it looks really cool. The melee combat's gonna be interesting because they don't there's no melee combat and control, it's all, Jesse uses guns, and then there's light melee combat in Alan Wake 2, but really it's guns still. So,
I'm
I'm curious how well it'll translate.
I'm super psyched about it being. I mean, the way they described it was it's like control Jesse's weapon except with a sword instead, and I think that
Mhm.
sounds great. And I am like semi worried because none of their games have had good melee combat, but I'm really hoping they turn it around with this one.
Yeah, maybe they, like, consulted some DMC people or something, I don't know. But yeah, because it's very much like, "Oh, there's the fists," because every game lets you switch, like, "Oh, you got your heavy weapon with that big old hammer, okay, you're gonna have your fast swords, you'll have your" not that the Jesse's gun was in just like, "Oh, there's your pistol, there's your shotgun, there's your sniper," like, it's okay, you're gonna have the same stuff, but it's like, alright, the usual tropes of multi-switching weapons in Melee, it's like, "Okay, here we go." But, I mean, it looks fun, I'm
Yeah.
curious because it's not called Control 2, but called Control Resonant. If it'll be like, is it technically Control 2? This is a problem that the games industry has where if a game isn't numbered, if the follow-up isn't numbered, there's not 100% guaranteed that it's like a proper sequel, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? It's like Assassin's Creed 1, Assassin's Creed 2, Brotherhood, and it's like and then you have all the other games in between, and then you have Assassin's Creed 3. It's like, "Oh, well, these aren't Assassin's Creed 3. Oh, this isn't, Resident Evil 8." Okay, well, it is. But where it's Village, It's like some games, like, it's like a middle game in between, like, "Oh, Spider-Man Miles Morales." Well, this isn't Spider-Man 2. This is Spider-Man Miles Morales, and then we're gonna have Spider-Man 2 later. Like, are you gonna have is this Control Resonant leading into Control 2? Like, with Jesse Faden as the primary main protagonist, you know what I mean? So I'm curious what they're gonna say, like, is it a smaller thing? Like, I don't know, but,
Mhm.
I mean, I'm still excited to play it. It's just that anytime a game doesn't have a number at the end, I'm always like, "Is this a smaller title than what you would expect from a numbered sequel?"
Yeah, I
Uh,
mean, it's a different location, different protagonist, though it does seem to continue the story and take place in the future. So it's like you're still going to get the continuation of the story, at least with the hiss breaking out clearly.
yeah,
And it's Jesse Faden's, it wasn't brother, right?
I think it's the brother, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So Jesse Faden's brother. Yeah, we'll see. It looked cool.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, even if it's something like, oh, it's not quite as long, but it's 3/4. Like that's fine. It's just I feel like that's the case for video games nowadays, unless you're like rebooting the franchise with a God of War and God of War Ragnarok, and you go to a subtitle versus a number and stuff like that. So I'll be curious to see what they say. But yeah, it's coming 2026, so not far off for them. Then we had a world premiere trailer for Gang of Dragon. One dude in the
Ooh.
crowd extremely popped off when the game studio name popped up on screen. I was like, "Holy shit."
Understandable.
Yeah. So, I know people excited. I'm not, but I'm guessing Zaya's you're excited?
It's the funny thing is it's got a very, like, very obvious, well, I mean, maybe not obvious, but like a Dragon Yakuza series vibe to it, and, as somebody who has never actually played a Like a Dragon or Yakuza game, I'm a massive fan of those
Mhm.
games in that genre, so it's got that big vibe, and I'm like, "Ooh, I can't wait to see it. It looks cool."
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it'll be good. Like, it seems like the fans of those series are very excited, so, good for them. Then we next game. Oh, then we got I didn't realize anyone. I heard the rumors about a Tomb Raider 1 remake, but they showed a trailer for Tomb Raider Catalyst, which is like, okay, at first I'm like, who is this? And when they're walking off, like, your story, you're a legend, and blah, blah, blah. And then it's like, I see the silhouette of Laura in the building. I'm like, okay, this is Laura Croft.
Mhm,
It's funny going back and watching reactions, seeing how long it takes people to clock that it's a Tomb Raider game. So then it's a new game. It's all cinematic trailer. Laura, she's shooting dudes straight up, unfazed. Redesigned model. Kind of looks like a mix between like the reboot plus like the OG style. And I like what they're doing. I like the
mhm.
model. Not that I didn't like the reboot because like it was a younger Laura. It's like, okay, she still looks like Laura is just young. So it's like it's not that far off. But yeah, I like the design. And then the way it ends though, it looks like that end bit where the pillars are coming out of the ground is in engine. Where everything else was like pre-rendered or CG cutscenes, it looked like an in-engine cutscene because there's popping all up in that bitch. I'm like,
Mhm.
this is in game. This looks dope. I'm like, look how, and there's like floating mountains in the background. I'm like, awesome. And I'm like, how am I gonna get off this pillar? Do I have a wingsuit? How am I doing it?
Am I gonna
Um,
have to climb up and then climb back down?
yeah, but, yeah, that last shot, just a big old open world, I'm like, "That looks great." But not much else, but yeah, it's coming 2027. I'm are you, you played all the other Tomb Raider reboot games, right, Isn't he? He's muted.
You
He's
disappeared.
busy he's busy dealing with something without putting it in chat like, "Hey, I'll be AFK."
No, fucking hell. I was muted. No, yeah, I've played all the reboot games. I was less sold on the artistic direction of this game. I kind of liked the realistic direction that the previous Tomb Raider games were taking. So for me, the change in this was kind of uh, it threw me off a little bit. It still looks pretty fun. It just really, really looks like Uncharted now, and I felt like the other Tomb Raider games were starting to. I know Tomb Raider came first, but then Uncharted kind of took its spot as that style of, tomb raiding, ancient exploration style game. And this one feels very similar to the original Uncharted games without necessarily having a unique identity in the trailer. It just seemed very like on rails action adventure kind of cartoony style. Could be very fun. I feel like this is one of those games where I need to see way more to form an opinion on it.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, there was no gameplay. It was just CG, except that the font,
Yeah.
we barely see Laura in the wide shot. But then right after this, it immediately rolls into Laura saying, "I need to go back and think about the beginning," and it rolls right into another trailer for a remake of the first game called Legacy of Atlantis, and it's like a reimagining of that first game, which came out in '96 for the 30th anniversary. And this game comes out next year, so it'll be 2026 for this Legacy of Atlantis, leading into the Tomb Raider Catalyst, which I think is really cool and makes me wonder. So when Tomb Raider Legends came out in 2006, not a great game in my opinion, but the year after they released Tomb Raider Anniversary, which came out on PS2, and I played that, and that was a remake of the first game. It was like I think, the first time there was a remake like that, where like they took a last gen game and put it on PS2, and it was like a PS2 game that came out after the PS3 had already launched, so it was like this weird release timing. But I played it, had a great time with it, replaying the original Tomb Raider. But then when they released Tomb Raider Underworld the year later, they all tied in. So it was like the first Legends ties into Underworld is essentially right after Legends, and it all had to do with Natla from the first game. Like, oh, she's still alive, and like she's the main protagonist or antagonist, sorry, in Underworld. I think you might see her at the end of Legends. There's like this crazy bit that happens with timey-wimey stuff with Laura's mom. So it was like, oh, that's really cool. They like released a remake because the next game's gonna be like, hey, remember that villain who you thought died? They're back. So I was like, oh,
Mhm.
that's really cool. And so I'm wondering if it's gonna be something like that. Like, oh, like I have a feeling probably not, because it's just celebrating the 30th anniversary of the OG game. But I'm curious too how much like it's funny they show a lot of the moves. I'm like, oh, this is like I know all these move sets. Like this is from the first game. Like the little pick herself up on the ledge and do like the handstand into the bend over backwards thing. I'm like, yeah, that's from the first game. And like all the jump, I'm like, those are all the jump animations. So it's like they're doing the exact animations for everything. The dinosaurs have feathers now. I'm like, okay, go ahead and update the dinos
Adorable.
to uh you know. But it was funny. Someone was saying like, so see, they have that dodge mechanic that they had in Anniversary, where if you do like a perfect dodge, it slows down time for Laura. In Anniversary, it was if you do that, you go into like this bullet time slow mo, and once the reticles line up, you get like this one shot KO ability. And Legends also had a bullet time kind of jump, and so did Underworld. But I was watching someone react to the trailer, like, "What's this bullet time thing? Where did this come from?" Like, clearly these guys never played the games from 2006 to 2008, I
Mhm.
guess, or they just don't remember. I mean, that was a while ago. I'll chalk it up. You just don't have you don't remember these games, but those all had a bullet time effect in it. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I think that's really cool. So that'll be fun, especially because it looks like they only really showed like that first level. So I'm wondering like how much of the other levels are going to be in there, because that's you go to that one temple, the Midas temple with the hand. You jump on it, you turn to gold. Like everybody does that. Uh, there's so much fun stuff in that first game that was in Anniversary, because obviously it's just a full-on remake. Like, I wonder if we get to see some of those cool locations in this one, since obviously they only show like that first level. I'm hoping that we get to see a lot of it. Maybe they'll redesign that final level to maybe be a little better, 'cause that is like one of the weakest levels of that OG game. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm really stoked there's going to be one back to back. The fonts being different in the titles when they showed them side by side kind of pissed me off, and I wasn't the only one. I was like,
Why would you not make it cohesive? But I
yeah,
guess it's like
why?
like, this is a remake, this is the new one.
I guess, yeah, like, I suppose, and maybe the font, if I were to compare it, like, it'd be more like the original if I looked at it, but I'm like, "Why? Why is it different?" And it's also by, I think, a different studio as well, whereas the main one's by Crystal, and I forget if they say who it is, but I they don't have it here in this list, unfortunately. But yeah, 2 Tomb Raider games. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to those.
I'm incredibly stoked because not only does she look beautiful, but it's also got all the, like you said, the original like jumps and animations, and it's just got a very like, ooh, this is familiar but pretty feel to it. I don't like that they kept saying 30th anniversary. It makes my bones crumble to dust.
Yeah. Good times.
Like, leave me alone. Just let me
Yeah.
enjoy this. Don't bring that up.
Then we
Do you
had
know what would have been really funny for
God.
30th anniversary?
Hmm.
If when Lara Croft did some of those like gymnastics moves, you could hear her bones like make little creaky noises, and she'd be like, "Oh, my hip." That would have
You
been
can hear
funny.
her knees pop when she
Yeah.
jumps.
The 30th anniversary edition is her complaining about like hip pain.
Listen, shut up.
That'd be funny. And then the next trailer we had, kind of a surprise trailer. I'm surprised I didn't clock it when it started going, but I guess that's because I was thrown off by the space aspect of it. It's like it starts like in the sci-fi, and there's like Easter eggs in the ship that would have given it away what it was from. But there was a new Forest game announced.
I don't think anybody clocked this, to be fair.
No,
I
That
still
was
don't know what this
such
game
a
is.
weird, yeah. That was the biggest surprise of the show to me.
well, when I watched it, I was like, yeah, going back, I'm like, the Odra deck thing was, I was too focused on that too. Like, they had this weird arm, like, oh, we're Sam Porter Bridges in space. It reminds me anytime you go first person in that game, and the Odra deck's over your shoulder. But yeah, like even like the half humanoid thing that stands up, I'm like, that's definitely very like that should have kind of tipped me off. But I was too the fact that it was so far in the future, I was like, what is going on? And I guess that makes sense because like in those games, it's always like an alien artifact, right? That ends up causing the problems, very Dead Space style. So maybe you're on a planet where this is
I
the race started here or something. Like,
I mean, I think it totally makes sense for the Forest games to have a sci-fi element because they historically have. I think the reason it threw me off is because they haven't released Sons of the Forest on consoles yet.
right,
So
right.
getting a third game announced before they've ported that to consoles, which I thought was coming, makes me think that maybe they are not actually porting the game to consoles and that they are now transitioning to maybe just being like PC games. So whether or not that's fine, it was more of like that kind of threw me off because I was like, okay, I just wouldn't expect a third game to be announced. I would expect the console port to be announced first.
Yeah. I guess it must be like the team doing it is so small that they can start working on something else. I mean, it was a while after the announcement of Sons of the Forest that Sons of the Forest actually came out, so it could still be a while, and they could probably have plenty of time to port the other games, perhaps. But yeah, that did throw me off. Like I would when they because especially because it was just called Forest 3, and I'm like, and no fanfare. It just immediately says end night, and then it goes right into the next thing, and I was like, what, what?
Yeah.
But yeah, like
No, no
that was a big
fanfare.
surprise.
Sons of the Forest is not called Forest 2 and it's not on consoles yet. And they start with like a way heavier sci-fi theme. So I would be surprised if many people actually clocked this as a Forest game prior to them, saying Forest 3. That said, it
Mhm.
looks super cool and I'm totally down for it. And if anything is going to be the spiritual successor to Dead Space, in a weird way, the Forest kind of makes sense in like a very strange way. Looks great, but also makes me just like I just want Sons of the Forest to fucking come out on consoles because now it's like the sunken cost or the what sunk cost fallacy of like I've
Mhm.
waited so long, just give it to me on console, please.
Yeah. I mean, I guess 1.0 technically didn't come out until that wasn't 2025, was it? When this year? When did Sons of the Forest 1.0 release? But I thought it was last year.
It's
Yeah,
deceptive
it
because
was
Sons
last
of the
year.
yeah, but
Yeah.
it's deceptive because Sons of the Forest was supposed to release a long, long time ago on PC
Mhm.
and consoles at the same time, and then something question mark that they haven't super talked in depth about made them release it for a very long time in early access instead because they felt like it wasn't ready, and then they only did the early access on PC. So somewhere along the way, like the marketing of that game changed, and they must have gotten bad feedback, and they course corrected, which I'm very grateful for. But it does make it deceptive of like when the game actually came out.
Yeah. Yeah, because the game was announced in 2019 for Sons of the Forest. It was supposed to come out in 2022, and then it got delayed to October of that year, and then it got delayed even further. And then early access came out. They delayed it even further, and then they said, okay, even though we're delaying, we're gonna release early access in February of 2023, and then 1.0 came out in February of 2024. So it's been in 1.0 for almost 2 years, in 2 months. So maybe that's when they'll just surprise. Maybe they'll just surprise drop the console version, perhaps. But we'll see.
I mean, at
But
this point, I'd be down for that.
yeah, I mean, yeah, there's really no need to do a trailer. Like, just drop it. Like, the game's out on PC, people are playing it there. Like, just say, hey, comes out in a week or whatever. You don't need to lead up with like, hey, in 8 months, play your game. Like, so.
That
Uh,
said, the trailer for 3 actually looks pretty interesting. It really caught my attention, and when I thought it was a new game, I was like, this looks like a really fun game.
yeah.
So, great trailer.
Yep. Yeah, and then we had a lot of stuff in between. Diablo 4 stuff, Marvel Rival stuff, another trailer for 007 First Light, another trailer for Lords of the Fallen using the song from Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet in it. I was like, why? Why would you do that? Uh,
Why not?
yeah. And then we had another more story focused trailer for Saros, which got a ghost delay because that game was supposed to come out on March 20th, and now it's coming out April 30th. So they didn't announce the delay. They just released a trailer called the pre-order trailer, and it's like, but they didn't mention, hey, we delayed it a month. Like, you delayed the game 2 months ago. You said it was coming out in March.
JCM's like, I've caught you. You can't sneak this shit past me.
I wasn't the only one because I thought, like, when they said April, I was like, April. I was like, I could have swore it was March, and I kind of like just gaslit myself
Fuckers,
thinking not. But then
fuckers
someone
can't
else
trick me.
in another podcast is like, this was delayed, and then I was like, okay, I wasn't wrong. It's like that scene from The Glass Onion where I'm like, that's not what Edward Norton did with that cup. Like, I was like, I know, and I'm like, oh, I guess I'll just the movie wouldn't lie to me. It's like I was right. Swap them. But
The movie did lie to me.
yeah. Then there was a trailer for a game called No Law, very generic title. Potentially could be a generic game. It's like a sci-fi first-person, kind of cyberpunk-ish. It kind of reminded me a bit of like Bulletstorm because he's kicking a lot and like, okay, generic angry guy, whatever. But I'm like, it could be fun. Like, I look at this like this. I'm interested in this, like, when it comes out, but we don't need to speak on it too much. But I was like, this could be a fun game, you know. But we'll uh, we'll see. But yeah, No Law is just a bad name, man. Definitely a PS3 era title for
Mhm.
a video game. Then we had which was already leaked and rumored, announcement of Total War Warhammer 40,000, which I've never played any of the Total War games. Not my style. I kind of lump them in with the Dynasty Warriors series, where it's like just a lot of stuff happening. And I'm like, it just doesn't seem interesting to me. And I've looked into them, but all the Total War games are typically in the fantasy version of Warhammer or like chivalry, IRL kind of knight stuff I don't care about. I'm like, damn it, I'm probably gonna have to play Total War now because they're doing Total War Warhammer 40,000. Like, I guess I'll do it.
You're really not beating those allegations, are you?
Well, once I buy that damn
Nope.
Vampire Survivor like
Yep.
Warhammer game, then that'll be not beating the allegations. That game's not out yet. Because Vampire Survivors is just visual vomit to me. But yeah, no release date, but it's coming. But it was kind of like leaked ahead of time, so people figured it was coming out. Then we had a Star Wars Galactic Racer announced, which is essentially like a successor to Pod Racer, which like there hasn't been like a game like this for a while. Like actually coming from someone who does racing games, like it's kind of crazy. But yeah, that got announced. A lot of people are excited. I remember playing the Pod Racer game there was an arcade one in like the main theater in that we went to as kids. Like everybody always played the Pod Racer arcade game. Very popular. So you seem really excited. You seem excited about it, right? Pod racing.
Well, I was like super excited because I was like, "Oh, pod racing game," and they were like, "Oh, it's just all of them racer." It's like, okay, but I'm only going to use the pod racers.
Hmm.
I get that. Okay, I guess you're like casting a wider net. I get it. It's fine, but I just want to race the pod racers.
Yeah, yeah. I'm sure it'll do well. It comes out. Another game comes out in 2026.
It looks cool. It's fun.
Yeah, people enjoy it. We had another trailer for Out of Words. This is a game that was announced a while ago that looked interesting. It's that stop motion game. It's coming out 2026. It was just another trailer for it. But yeah, looks good. Looking forward to that one. We had the release date for Phantom Blade Zero come out September 2026. It's quite a ways out for that. Then we had the surprise announcement of Mega Man Dual Override, so a new 2D side-scrolling Mega Man game coming out. Not
Which
a numbered title.
looks very fun. I would love to know how it's different from a numbered title. like, is it just the graphics that are different? Because it seems like it has all of the numbered title animations. It's just not done in like the old pixel style, but it looked
Yeah,
really
I don't know.
fun.
Yeah.
The thing that cracked me up was just that the trailer was like super realistic and the music was playing and everything, and it's like building up, and then it's like Mega Man.
Mm, yeah.
Just
Uh,
it's like, why are you building this up so much? Just show
well,
it
that
as Mega Man.
that that I kind of like because, like, Mega Man's a series that has a lot of people love it, but like there's not like a lot of them out there. They're not really doing much with it. But that lead into it was very. It kind of reminded me of the God of War 2016 reveal where they Barry McCreary played the theme. You wouldn't have guessed it was God of War from the theme, but afterwards, like, oh, this is definitely a God of War
Yeah,
like theme. But
yeah,
you didn't know it at the time. Whereas this, the music they're playing at the end of the music, it gets into Dr. Light's theme. And even the text that gets punched in for the password is like what Dr. Light something, it was a DLP or something like that, DLR, like Dr. Light Robot 1. So it's like, okay, this is Mega Man. Um, like there's so for fans, they would pick up like, oh, I hear hints of this theme. Like that's real. I like that for the fans because there were some people when I watched the reaction like, oh my god, it's Mega Man, and seeing them freak out like it's just really fun uh, for that kind of stuff. So I like when they do kind of reveals like that. Like I mean, they did the same thing for Okami, right? When they had that, they
true.
had a bunch of music coming out, and then people were like, "Oh, what? What? Oh my god! Oh my god!"
And
And then yeah,
to be clear, I'm actually like kind of excited for a new Mega Man game, and I'm happy it's not a numbered one. I would like them. I'm hoping because the graphics are different that it means that they're going to innovate the system a little bit and
mhm,
have some different mechanic. Like it's called dual override. So
mhm,
obviously we don't know what that means yet, but I'm like, do you get two robot powers at the same time and you can like combine robot powers and that's how the
mhm.
transformations work? Because that'd be really cool.
Yeah, yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I'm not like a big Mega Man person myself. I liked playing Mega Man X back in the day,
Yeah.
and stuff like that, and
Which
Zero in it.
which was like the first one that innovated after Mega Man had been like very stagnant, and Mega Man X had, different styles of power-ups and a bit more
Mhm,
RPG elements and things. And I guess that's kind of what I'm hoping for with Dual Override is that it does something different with the system. Because every time a Mega Man game does something different, people fucking love it. God, what was the RPG? The like not net. I'm thinking like Net Zero, but that's not what it was. The one where you played like a Mega Man card game RPG in the interwebs was fucking phenomenal as well.
I
Clearly, you guys don't know what I'm talking about.
don't know. You're saying it's words of a crazy man.
Battle Network, right?
I
Sure.
yeah, I was gonna say it's network something, but I could not think of what it is. Yeah, Battle Network sounds right.
Yeah, Mega Man Battle Network. That was like a great Mega Man game.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Yeah.
that's my rant. Just
Yeah.
something different.
I haven't played a Mega Man game since the ones that they speedrun
That's
on
why they need to
GDQ.
do. That's why they need to do something different with it. Is to like get people back into playing it.
Well, it's
Yeah.
just not like my go-to style of game, but yeah, I haven't played a Mega Man since it was like pixels.
But you love cute robots, so it should be your style of game. That's why they need to change up the gameplay.
I mean, I
Yeah.
love the aesthetics of it. I love the designs and all of the like silly bosses and stuff like that. It's just like the like side-scrolling shoot type of thing is not really my thing.
Pew pew pew
Yeah.
pew pew.
Yeah. I think the last one I played was Mega Man X4. Was the last one I played. That was in '97 on PlayStation 1. But yeah, and then they ended the show with they had a really good show, like strong start, good middle, and they had like a final thing, and it was an FPS fantasy shooter, like 3v3 arena battler from some ex Apex Legends and Titanfall folks. Like not even from that studio, but just from some people who used to work on those games, formed their own studio, and this is what they're doing. And they ended on this. Like, you ended on this? Like, no offense, but I'm like, this is
Hero
like a
shooter.
middle. Yeah, this is not a good way to end. Like typically you end with, like a single player title or a highly anticipated game. I don't know. But yeah, it was a weird way to end kind of the showcase of trailers with this game, which I mean, like
Sponsorship.
I
For sure.
guess.
For
Well,
sure.
it's a new studio though, so it's like
Yeah,
I
but
wonder
it's
what
a
they
new
paid.
studio with like quote unquote prominent people doing something that's like the thing to do now. It used to be battle royales, now it's hero shooters. So it's like,
Yeah.
yay, play our game. It'll be quote unquote free.
And I do like the idea of having like proper new shooter mechanics, but in that sci-fi aesthetic, I'm like, "Okay, this is fun."
Mhm.
And stuff like that. So I'm like, "Okay, this could work." But I'm like, "I don't know if I'll play it though." But it is free and it comes out soon, January 2026. It's a free to play game, so it could do really well potentially. Get people to actually try it versus being like, $30 or something like that. But it was just a weird way to end the show. But yeah, overall,
Definitely.
It
I
was
thought the trailers were good.
it was an anticlimactic end when you had some trailers in the middle that were
Mhm,
like way stronger. I mean,
mhm.
ending on like Divinity or even for actually Forest would have been a great ending because no one was expecting it. But it was just yeah, I agree. It was a weird ending.
Yeah, because like, people popped off for the Ace Combat 8 trailer, which we didn't talk about because 'cause I'm not, like, an Ace Combat person, but, like, people like that series, and that was a trailer that was, like, got a lot of people hyped too, like that
People who love
franchise.
Ace Combat love Ace Combat.
Mhm. Yeah.
Good for them.
Yep. But yeah, not a not a bad showcase for trailers, and the overall award show was pretty much a sweep for Expedition 33. No surprise there.
Weep.
Yep. Yeah, it's still too long though, man. It's too long of a show. They gotta trim it down.
Dude, it was so long and I was interested in a lot of the games and I watched like the first 45 minutes and was like, how long does this show go for? And I looked it up and saw it was supposed to be a few hours and was like, nah,
Yep.
can't
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
Didn't realize that I was committing to like a Lord of the Rings series watch here with sitting down to watch this show. Can't do it.
Yeah. At least when if you watch the VOD, like, later, you can, like, "Oh, here's the game. I don't care about this game. I'll just quickly skip through it." And, like, you're good. You can get skip through some stuff and get to the awards speeches or whatever. Because I do hate like, I don't like to do the thing where I go back and it's just a scatter shot of every trailer that was shown. I'm like, "I don't know which ones to click on." Like, you know what I mean? Like, outside the ones of the names I know, it's like, "Okay, I'll just rewatch the VOD and then just skim through it." Which is what I had it because I started watching. I had it. I hate when I have plans for stuff. Like I'm very like I have a schedule. I know what I'm gonna do.
Mhm.
And so I was like, oh, okay, Thursday. I was like, all right, well, it's gonna be workout day. So what I'll do is I'll quickly get my workout done. I'm not gonna do the pre-show because I never watched the pre-show. And then I'll get done with that, and then I'll be ready by 5 to start watching it. And then my wife had a doctor's appointment at like 4:40, and normally to get the kid or get the youngest from daycare, and like, oh, can you get the little guy from daycare? It's like, okay, well, I'm gonna get him. Okay, well, I still want to make the show. I won't have enough time to do my workout, get him and get to the show on time. It's like, okay, I'll postpone my workout today. I'll do Friday, Saturday. And it's like, so I go get the kid, make sure I get him before 5. Then the appointment goes like long, and my uh oldest has scouts on Thursday at like 6 o'clock. And I get a text like, oh, can you go drop off the boys at scouts? Because the youngest was gonna go there or whatever, because they're doing like a donations for instead of a secret Santa this year, they're doing donations for toys to stuff. And I'm like, now I have to drop him off by 6. I'm like, well, now I'm missing it. I'm like, now I'm bummed out because I didn't do my workout because I didn't want to miss it. But if I'd known I was going to miss it at 6, I would have just done my fucking workout anyways and then picked up the little guy and caught up. But no, it's like now I just skipped it. And then a second thing reverses the decision I made to begin with. And I just got, and then it was like my whole evening was ruined. And I was like, God damn it. I was like, I hate,
My
like,
whole evening was ruined.
I was so
No, I get
annoyed.
it, I get
I
it.
know.
So it was just like it was like, all right, I'm over it. And I'm like, I'm not staying at the scout thing. It's like took the kids, came back home, and it's like I had to like speed back up to catch up to Zaya. Like luckily I was able to skip through like commercials and stuff like that. But yeah, it was just anyway, it was a good show overall. With the trailers, but he's gotta trim it down. It's too
Mhm.
much. And stop I get like we talked about it last year and in previous years, and I get like sidelining categories where the game of the year winner or the best direction. I think they also have best narrative. Like if those games are gonna win the other categories that you sideline, it's like I get it. It is kind of spoilery. I know this year we kind of assumed, but I mean there are some years where it's like you don't know. It's like that year when Split Fiction won. It's like we didn't know if it was gonna win game of the year, but we thought, "Oh, he must be getting an award for something," and they sidelined his award. Like, "Why would you do that? We're not gonna get the Joseph Ferris speech." And then he ends up winning, game of the year. It's like, "Okay." Or like direction or something, one of those big awards. It's like, "All right, I see now it makes sense in that it's like I get it," but it's also kinda like, "Okay, well, bit of a
I
spoiler there."
I feel like with the decline of E3, they've decided like publishers have just decided that this is actually when they're going to release games is during the Game Awards. And I just
Yeah.
feel like it's the new thing to watch. or people are trying to make the new thing to watch. But yeah, it was just I wasn't expecting a fucking 3 hour show plus if you watch the pre-show stuff, which sometimes I do, it being like a whole day extravaganza. It's
But
just a lot.
it's so weird because we have Summer Game Fest, and then we have Gamescom. It's like you had time to
Right,
do
but this
stuff.
this has just become the one apparently. Like
Yeah, I get because you have
Gamescom and Summer
more
Game
people watch
Fest.
it.
Yeah, I don't feel like any games got announced there, or it's like maybe one medium tier game gets announced there. This one
Yeah,
had all of them.
Gamescom is usually nowadays like, oh, it's a follow-up for the game you saw at the, Summer Game Fest. Or it'd be like another like a second like the one was the CGI trailer, and this one's like a little bit of a gameplay trailer. Or you get to see it on the floor or something like that, and people can report on it there. But yeah, it's like and those are like what was it June for Summer Game Fest? Because to take up that old E3 spot, and then it's August for Gamescom. So it's like, okay, you've got a couple months, so maybe you can get something ready. And it's like this is December, so it's like, okay, you got a few more months if you got to get something else ready. So you got like, hey, which window can we make? We don't think we make the first one. Well, let's just push it from Gamescom and let's do because people watch opening night live. I watch opening night live, but yeah, way more people watch the Game Awards out of either of those shows. I feel like so it kind of makes sense there, but it's just
Yeah, but
yeah,
if it's gonna be that, it needs to not be the Game Awards
hmm
anymore. I feel like every year they sideline more and more categories just to fit in more trailers and like stage shit. Like you don't need the people to come out and get sucked up into the ceiling. Just show the trailer and
yeah.
get to the awards. Don't pretend to be an award show if you want to be the new E3.
Yeah. Sidelining racing game and fighting game is weird to me. I'm like, like
Sidelining RPG.
right, right. Well, that I got. I'm like, okay, well, because they're gonna win.
It
But like, if they didn't, I
Let
mean, I
them
still, it's
sweep.
like, yeah, yeah. I guess
I
that's what they're trying to avoid because the Dice Awards will be that, right? Because we'll get to the Dice Awards and it's just gonna be Nintendo guy over again. Like it's
I
like,
feel like
yeah,
I feel like why it stresses me though when they sideline like RPG, for example. You know, one, it tells you who's going to win, which even if you knew that, it still makes you go like, okay, well now I know who's going to win Game of the Year. Therefore, I like you don't need to have all the pomp and circumstance if you're just going to make it evident who's going to win. And then the second part is like it's kind of fun seeing or hearing about like the other games in the category.
Mhm.
And
mhm,
sidelining it kind of makes it seem like, oh, all of you other
we don't care.
RPGs that
Yeah.
didn't win, you all suck, therefore we're not going to show you.
Yeah, yeah. It's definitely it makes it seem like the category doesn't matter anymore. Yeah, I'd be
Yeah,
curious to go back and like look at the past couple years and be like, okay, which ones got sidelined? Did like did an RPG win that wasn't in like best direction narrative or game of the year? So then they showed it. Like, is that how they're kind of picking and choosing which is to sideline? Like, oh well, these guys got 3 awards, we'll sideline the award they win. But then, like you said, it's a spoiler. Or it could also be the anti-spoiler of, oh, well, they actually showed RPG this year. But well, an RPG isn't nominated for Game of the Year, so or if it was, it's like, okay, well, that
Mhm.
they
means they
just
might not win.
they just need
Yeah,
a
that
more
game.
polished structure to all of it. It's just too much right now.
Yeah, I it must be like the only way he thinks that they can get around the insane time limits they used to have for speeches, where it was like 30 seconds or
Mhm.
whatever. So it's like, oh, to allow for longer speeches, the downside is we have to do less awards because it's way more of a trailer show.
I think
Okay,
I'd be
but they could
fine with
fit
them going
in
back to short speeches again.
I'm fine with like the speeches because it's like I was talking with this with Michael about this. This is like their only major like mainstream opportunity to get this kind of recognition. So it's like
Mhm.
let them be awkward, let them ramble, let them have their moment type of thing. They could fit in at least one more award with a long awkward speech if they got rid of the stupid stage stuff.
Yeah.
Like just
And,
show
like,
the trailer and move on to the actual awards.
yeah, we don't need the entire cast of not almost the entire cast of Street Fighter to come out on stage. That's not needed. Like,
Mhm.
we don't need that. Like, that was so unnecessary. And everybody had a mic, but, like, not everybody's talked. It's like, why? Why did we do this? Why did we bring them out? Like, it's so that was definitely like, okay, cut this out. We don't need this.
And
And he definitely yeah.
why did we bring out the cast of Street Fighter to not present fighting game?
You're right. That's what I said in Discord to you. I was like, some of these don't make sense. Like, why wouldn't you have, pair these people up with categories that make sense? Like they do that a good job usually of like performance best performance in a game, they'll have like, oh, it's a real actor who's come out and presenting. Like that's cool. Like when they've done that in the past, even though it's like, why is that person even here to begin with? It's like it's so weird. Like they're not a gamer. Um, why was Al Pacino there? But yeah, so it's like sometimes it's like, okay, you could have matched these up a little better. Like, because like with the David Harbour one, I was like, this is a weird matchup for Warhammer, and he does say, "Oh, I love Warhammer." Like, okay, I guess if he really
Yeah,
did like Warhammer, that makes sense. But I'm like, did you know that when you asked him? Like, I
right.
don't like he didn't come out to present a Stranger Things, like Total War Stranger Things, like you know what I mean? So it so it's like it was a weird. I was like, why did they pick him? But, Henry Cavill must have been busy doing his thing with Warhammer, so,
Right?
like, yeah,
I
so,
feel
yeah,
like
it was
that's like that may be like a natural conversation thing. Maybe they met at like an event or something and he mentioned how much he loves Warhammer and it kind of stuck and Jeff reached out and was like, "Hey, do you want to come on my show and announce the Warhammer game?" Yeah, sure, like as a favor type of thing, not really like a planned celebrity thing, but it's just like I don't know. The one that really irks me too a little bit, which is strange, is sidelining content creator because yeah, they're awkward and they may not like want to do the acceptance speech or whatever, but like it or not, content creators and streamers are like part of the backbone of the industry at this point. So
Almost
it's
Critical
like,
didn't want that award. He's like, "I don't
yeah,
want
I know.
it."
He's like, I'm not interested. No, thank you. But
Yeah,
see that I can get like sideline it because the winner is just not interested. That's fine. But
yeah,
like give recognition to the people who push the industry forward, community side too. And like and it's nice that they did that whole segment with the girls make games thing and it's like
mhm,
they give them that recognition as well. But like I don't know, just like sidelining community stuff for an award show that's voted on by the community is like you could put a little bit more pomp and circumstance on it. Maybe get rid of like the floating one of the floating people acts and
yeah,
like put the spotlight on creators and streamers a little bit more.
I would also be this sounds horrible, but based on the winner of it, I think I would be fine to sideline the fan vote one if it's just a popularity contest for gotcha games and they give free roles if you vote for them. Like I think I would be fine sidelining anything like that.
Oh yeah, yeah. Which was really funny to me that Wuthering Waves was it Wuthering Waves won it
Yeah.
and not not Genshin. I was like,
Yeah.
ooh, there's gonna be a
But
lot of vitriol in the community
I
now.
I kind of just want like the major categories of like best game in X, Y, and Z genre. And I don't I want like best game in X, Y, and Z genre, and then I want spotlights for like important things that happened in the industry. And that's kind of like how I would pare down the show. I want all of the
Mhm.
bullshit gone.
Yeah,
yeah,
maybe we
y
don't need most anticipated game
Yeah, like
because
things like
yeah,
that. Who
that's
cares?
who cares?
Who cares? I
Yeah,
wanna know, like, best fighting game, best racing game, best RPG, best action game, like, give me the best ofs for each genre, and then, like, also include, like, best music, but I do feel like half the categories are kind of bullshit categories that have been invented for marketing and are not really relevant to anything.
yeah,
Mhm.
and like, best esports team and athlete, I don't care. And esports game, like, okay, sure, keep that there because that kinda just means best that's a glorified best multiplayer, I feel like, because it's so niche, like, it's okay, each game is its own esport, like, whatever, and then, again, they have their own
Mhm.
esport awards show, but, like, he got rid of, like and going back, I will correct myself, David Harbour did say he is in the game, so I'm like, okay, that does kinda make sense, like, now, like, when
Oh
I was
yeah.
like, "Okay." He did say, "I will be in it." It was kind of a passing thing. Okay. But, he used to have, like, the trending gamer or whatever, like, Greg Miller won that in, like, 2015. They had that for a couple years. I think there was some controversy later on with someone. Then they used to do the announce or have, like, the content creator of the year, except because I remember the year that
Mhm.
Doctor Disrespect won was he won right before it came out that he cheated on his wife. So then there was that whole
Yeah.
thing like, should he give the award back? It's like, 1, who gives a shit? It's a nothing award, and
Yeah.
2, it's like so then I don't think they've had people come on stage since that,
But
happened,
they
but I think
still
that
are giving out the award, so
right,
it's
right,
just
yeah,
like, you're
yeah,
getting
so
Content Creator of the Year, now it comes out that you're a
yeah,
shitty person, do you give your award back even though you didn't go on stage and accept it? Like,
yeah,
why even if you're trying to avoid, like, controversy or whatever, or just, like, you're not you don't want to vet the nominees and stuff like that. It's like, just don't even have the award.
Yeah.
And maybe make it like most anticipated game and like voter appreciation game or whatever, the one that's like 100%. Make those like
Mhm.
live polls during the show and give updates and stuff like that. That doesn't need to be its whole like predetermined thing that takes up like an award slot. Just put a little banner at the bottom that's like, oh, most anticipated game. Because I feel like most anticipated game would have been Resident Evil if everybody knew about Leon.
Yeah.
It's like now it's that's just little stuff like that is like put more passive things that people can do during the show and just get rid of all of this like make it about awards again.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. Like, it's something like, oh, best audio design, they silent. I'm like, that's kind of, I think obviously DICE will be the place where it's like it really matters for that because like that's from your peers. But it's like
Yeah, but DICE isn't
so-
gonna get the mainstream
no.
gaming like thing that the Game Awards does, which is my whole argument of it is like this is turning into like a lot of people are like, oh, I hate how Hollywoodized it is now. And it's like, but if it's in the mainstream and people who aren't like massive gaming enthusiasts and like journalists and stuff like that, if it's getting them to watch the Game Awards, then let the people who make the games have their recognition.
Yeah, but then I wonder things like, okay, Battlefield wins best audio design. Does that get does people seeing that, do they go like, "Oh," and they have an acceptance speech or something, they're like, "Yeah, our engine's really good." Like, do they go, "Oh, I should play it has good audio, I should play Battlefield 6." Like, you know what I mean? So, whereas I feel like if I was a dev, the DICE award to me would be like the one where it's like recognition for my peers versus and granted, I would still like to win the game awards, obviously,
Mhm.
as, getting something there for sure, but, because you're getting eyes on it. I feel like if my peers, because that's much higher praise than from journalists, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, it's
But
like it's your peers versus journalists and community and mainstream and stuff like that. So it's like
yeah,
different things, but if more eyes are going to be
yeah,
on the Game Awards, like in general, a wider net, then it makes more sense to have the actual developers and like people who are involved with the game on stage. So it kind of reinforces the fact that like these are human beings,
mhm,
peoples that are making your games.
yeah.
Um, there's a reason that the union is outside. Like, just remember, this is a people. This is a person that made your video game that you like. So there you go.
Yeah, it's like someone said, like, people think, like, graphics are like, "Oh my god, look how beautiful this game is," where developers are more like, "Oh my god, how did you get that character to put on that shirt so seamlessly?" Like, they care about the
Yeah,
small details because they know how the sausage is made, so that, like, it's way more yeah,
but
they
there
know what's
was
going on.
a I can't remember what game it was now, but there was like in kind of like the game dev appreciation circle that I kind of watched. There was a game that came out where there was a cutscene. It's first person and your character hands something to another character and it's on screen. They physically hand the item to them and everybody was freaking out. Like, how did you
Yeah,
do that? How did
yeah,
you make them actually pass an item to each other without it clipping?
yep, for sure.
Yeah, that kind of stuff.
Man. Alright, well, I guess we can move on from there. Like I said, we talk about good show, we have our criticisms of it, but,
Mhm.
go ahead and move on to what we've been playing quickly. We've been going off now, talking a lot about the Game Awards. Yeah, so we're out. I'm trying to remember who was on the last episode.
It was me.
It was you. Okay. Yeah,
It
because you
was
just got
me.
back from Japan, so you talked here about your Japan trip,
Mhm.
and you didn't play too much. So have you been playing anything new? Are you playing I saw Michael
I'm
play some new stuff, but
Yeah, he's always playing new stuff. He's really into like
Hell Clock or something like that.
yeah, like roguelites, bullet hells, stuff like
Yeah.
that. But
Which
anything
roguelite is he playing right now?
I don't know what he's playing
He
right now
he
if he's
played a
playing
Hell
any.
game, like, I was like, "Oh, like, Hell Clock or something." I saw it popped up on my
Oh,
Steam. I
yeah,
have to
he's not playing anything right now, but I don't know. He buys a new like $4 roguelite game on Steam every like couple weeks, which is fine. But um as for like new stuff, no, I've really been playing primarily Dragon Quest Builders on my Vita still. I want my next game I want to play though is Tearaway. I want to try to get that.
Oh, that's right. We talked about Tearaway.
Yeah.
Uh,
So, I wanna get that, and then, ironically, haven't really been playing much else this past week because I was trying to, like, coalesce all of my, like, pictures and stuff in like an album from the trip, and so I was doing that, just trying to make a nice little scrapbook thing for myself. I was doing that. But this past weekend, Friday and pretty much Saturday, I hopped back into 14 to kind of get caught up a little bit more because the 7.4 patch is on Tuesday. So I want to kind of get ready for that. And that's pretty much it. I think today I want to start playing the new Claire Obscure stuff though, because
Oh, that's right.
oh
Yeah, they
boy,
surprise dropped it during the show.
yeah,
So
thank you
excited about
DLC.
that.
Oh boy,
Yes.
excuse to play that game again. I want to hop back in. So.
Do it. What about you? Is it what have you been playing?
God, it's been a while.
Yep.
I finished Dispatch, which I think I'd finished it.
I think you talked about it
Yeah.
when you last time we're on the podcast.
Yeah, so I'd finished Dispatch and I played through Dispatch a second time, which I think is the new thing that I hadn't done last time, which
Everybody's talking about it.
um
the new thing. Replay the game.
well, I
I know.
you know, I
I'm
wanted
kidding.
my big commentary the first time around is like I couldn't tell how much the
hmm
decisions I made actually mattered.
Yeah.
And so I played it a second time making wildly different decisions. And I definitely have an opinion on that now, which is that it seems like it is structured to guide you towards a particular ending,
hmm
which I guess is very similar to a lot of Telltale games, but it feels more like a TV show and less like a video game, which I couldn't tell in my first playthrough because I wasn't sure what like the endings were available. But in my second playthrough, trying to make different decisions, it kind of is more evident that it was structured like a TV show because it's not. I haven't tried everything, but it doesn't seem like there's a ton of branching paths. It seems like they all kind of converge back to a similar point in order to tell a specific story, which is fine. But
hmm
it reminds me more of like a visual novel than a like choice-based game. So I played that, and then I traveled for Thanksgiving and uh, forgot to bring brought my Switch or not my Switch, my Portal. Forgot to bring my Switch, and then forgot to turn my PlayStation on, so couldn't actually use my Portal. So yeah, so I played a shit ton of Mario Party on
I'll spit on
N64
my
and
drink.
GameCube, which I don't know why that's what it was, but Mario Party for Thanksgiving was a vibe. It was not a bad vibe though. It did get angry, quite angry, uh, because I kicked everyone's ass, but not a bad vibe. Um,
That's how you do it.
yeah, and then afterwards, everyone was so down with Mario Party that some of my friends want to purchase Lego Party now,
Hell yeah.
who have never played
Mm,
like console games before. So I'm really curious if they're actually going to buy a console and buy a Lego Party just to play virtually. I doubt it, but
They
that'll be
play on
really
PC.
cool. Yeah.
It's crossplay.
Yep. So I did that, and then that's pretty much what I've been playing. I picked up Assassin's Creed Shadows when it was on sale for Black Friday, and I started playing it, and it's just I don't know, it's really not clicking for me. I have started trying to play it multiple times, and each time I sit down to play it, I end up just like zoning out. I'll play it while I'm watching like Twitch or watching a TV show, and then I end up just like pausing the game and watching the TV show instead. So maybe I'll come back to it in the future. It just something about it is not doing it for me.
hmm
Um, did either of you play that?
Yeah, I started it. I played about maybe a couple hours. But I need to go back to it.
So you did this. Okay, so basically the same thing I did.
Well, it wasn't a good game to stream. And I forget what came out around it that I was like, oh, I'll play this as my. Because there was a lot in that time period. It was like there was other stuff I was looking forward to, and I'd have to go back and look at the release calendar. But it was like, oh, in my mind, it was like I could play this as my single player game. Then this game comes out, which would be a good stream game, and yada yada. And like there was too much. And by the time because we talked about like I played other stuff leading up to it, and then yeah, I haven't been able to go back.
But then the other thing I've been playing, which I've really been into, is finally playing Super Mario Bros. Wonder, which I have really been enjoying. So that's been a ton of fun and reminds me. Honestly, I'm sure it's because I was playing Mario Party that I was like, I should play the new 2D Super Mario Brothers. That should be fun, and it's been great so far. I really like it. It's probably one of my favorite Mario games in the past like decade. Honestly, I find it really fun. So that's kind of what I've been doing.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to see here. Assassin's Creed. Yeah, Assassin's Creed. And that's for this. I don't care about the Switch version. Okay. Wait, what? It came out in March? Really?
Yeah, it came out a while
Mhm.
ago. It
In
came
my
out a
mind,
long
that was
time
like this
ago,
summer.
and
Oh, that's right, because
We
it got delayed slightly because Assassin's Creed's always come out in October, November, and then it got pushed,
Yeah.
again because it got delayed a couple times. I remember now. Yeah, because we played because that was a busy month. Like, you and I played Split Fiction.
Yep,
I played that on stream. And then I was like, "Oh, I'll play, Assassin's Creed when that comes out, later that month," which was, the 20th, so it's in that month, and I'm trying to look at the other and then Adamfall came out on the 27th, which I wanted to play, and I streamed that, so I played Adamfall. Uh, and then after that, I'm trying to look at what came out, in April that would have been then Blueprints came out April 10th, so it's just like, there
yep.
was too many games that were coming out, and I played Blueprints a bunch, uh
God,
and then it was just like,
Blueprints really did not have any showing at Game Awards, did it?
uh, no, I don't think
I'm
so.
just kind of realizing that now. That is surprising to me. That was a really good game.
Yeah, and then after Blueprints, at some point I got because Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown came out in April. I didn't well, never mind, that came out in April on Android. But I did play that at some point, this year. I don't remember when it was, but I was like, "Oh, I got it on sale." I'm just looking at the list of all the stuff that kept coming out that kept delaying me, and then Claire Obscura was the 24th, so it's like I just because we played other stuff, and it's like I just didn't
Yep,
have time.
yep.
Mhm.
So it's
And
like,
then
yeah,
Clair
it's just
Obscur came out, and you got caught up in the hype of all of us playing it at the same time, which is always a ton of fun. Yeah, and then like none of us ever played Shadows, so
yeah, and then
I lost my faith and interest in the series anyway, so I was like, this is so back burner for me. It's
right? Well, wait,
eventually
why? I thought you loved Valhalla. Why did you lose faith and interest in it?
because every time a new game comes out, it's like, oh, this looks really cool and interesting, and then you get like, I don't know. I did love Valhalla, and I like the direction that they're taking with it, but I was just like, I don't know. I'm so
Nothing ever
lukewarm to it
happens.
now. Yeah, nothing substantial ever happens, and they seem really reluctant to like do any kind of wrap up on their cash cow.
I
So
Yes.
saw I saw that they do the OG Metal Gear Solid, Rising, sword cutting, where, like, you can cut stuff up, like, perfectly with a sword. I saw it, like,
mhm.
Digital Foundry was doing their, like, top graphics or whatever. If it had come out in Q4 like it was supposed to in 2024, I probably would have played it because there would have been much then I would have, got in there. But, yeah, it was just,
Honestly,
too
I
much.
think the reason I have been having trouble getting into Shadows is when Origins came out, I was super psyched because I was like, okay, Assassin's Creed never like super wrapped up properly with Ezio's storyline and all of that. And I know they had like Assassin's Creed 3, but I think there were a lot of like missteps in Assassin's Creed 3. And Origins felt like, okay, they're changing the direction of the series. Maybe they will actually tell a complete storyline this time and actually like push it forward. And then I think with each successive game, it's been more and more evident of like, oh no, you're actually just going to make it more and more complex, and you're still sticking to your guns of never wrapping anything up ever. So the
Mhm.
storyline will never progress.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
I don't know. I'm really struggling to get into Shadows because it just
Plus, you
doesn't
just
seem
played
like it's.
Yote.
It just
That's
doesn't.
gotta be
Well, yeah. It
that's
just
gotta be
doesn't
tough.
seem like it's going to go anywhere.
Yeah. I mean, I want to go back and play it. I just I it's a big open world game, so I need that time because I didn't finish Mirage because I was like it was a little too old school. Like I did play a lot of it though. I just didn't finish it. But yeah, I do want to go back and finish it since I have I bought it. I want to go back and at some point. It's a big game, and then I want to play Ghost of Yote. I just gotta wait for a good time to play that, but I don't want to play them both back to back. But yeah, I was like, I was trying to figure out, like, what to play, because my cousin was gone, so I played a bunch of Arc Raiders. I'm not playing Arc Raiders really much anymore unless I can play with people. They're gonna have an update coming out soon. They won multiplayer game of the year. Um, they're gonna have an update coming out soon, which maybe will add some new quests, and I'll go back and play for the quest stuff. But, I was trying to figure out, like, okay, what am I gonna play in the meantime? And I was like, "Oh, I'll finally try the Cyberpunk DLC, Phantom Liberty." I was like, "I should play that," but it's like it's been so long since I replayed Cyberpunk that I was like, "Okay, I'm just gonna roll a new character," and they give you the option, like, just roll, like, a level 15 character from the start, and you skip the intro, and they give you, like, predetermined skill slots, but I'm like, "I have no idea, like, what's good build-wise now with the updates," and I was like, "I kinda would go, like, a gun method," so I'd look up, like, videos, and I'm like, "Okay, well, I need to kinda relearn the game," so I was like it was on sale on PC, and I was like, "I kinda wanna get this on PC," so I bought it on PC to replay it there, better graphics and whatnot. Uh, and I re-rolled a new game and from the start. played it through, skip cutscenes. I remember a lot of the beginning stuff. I mean, there's some sections you can't skip. And I was like, oh, this is why they let you skip the intro and go to level 15. But now I'm at the point where I can go into the DLC if I want to. Like the quest is flagged. But I'm kind of like playing through and doing stuff in the game, playing around there, just relearning the mechanics and whatnot. It's fun to be back in that world, especially in the better looking version of it. And I look forward to getting to the DLC at some point. And then I'm also playing. Where is it? I picked up. Trying to see if I have it in my thing here, but I don't see it. I picked up Routine. I'm looking forward to starting that. I'm probably going to start that this week. That's a game that's been in development for a long time. It's kind of like a Alien Isolation.
That game,
Very
yeah, that game. Wow, that was announced a long time ago.
Yeah, it's finally out. And I think Mick Gordon does some music for it, because he was shown on his social media. But yeah, I'm looking forward to playing that. That's just kind of a smaller game, very slow paced, spooky vibes. I'm looking forward to playing that. I picked that up. And then I also picked up Escape Simulator 2 because that was on sale. I'm looking forward to playing that. Like we've obviously played it, Escape Simulators, you and me, with Michael as
Hmm.
well. That's a fun game. So I'm looking forward to playing this. And there's a lot of character or user created levels as well in it already. So I went through read the tutorial. That game, when I launched it last night to play some, had the same USB bug that Terra Nil has. And I was like, okay, I gotta solve this fucking problem. So long story short, I figured it out. It was my Elgato camera. And sometimes the camera will, even though it's plugged in persistently, and it's plugged into my Stream Deck Plus, not my PC, because I have the back USB attachment that goes into that, which is fantastic. So I have it plugged in there. I'm like, oh, I'll just daisy chain it off this. Easy to go. Gives me more USB ports. And sometimes I get like if you don't use it a lot, I feel like if you don't use it, you lose it. Like I'll go and boot up OBS and it's like no camera captured. And I'll boot up the Elgato Facecam app and be like, there's no camera. Now I have to do a unplug it and plug it back in bullshit. And that only happens if I don't use it for like a prolonged amount of time. And I haven't streamed in a while. And so I was like, I was watching all the USB connected devices, and every time it did the refresh thing, I could see it like, oh, that would be the one that disappeared. Unplugged it, plugging in, problem went away. I'm like, great. Because I'm like, I don't want to have to mute my system notification sounds or turn off the USB notification sound just to play Escape Simulator 2. Because I haven't played Terranil since that problem happened, and I want to play Terranil. But I solved that luckily, so now I won't have that problem as I play Escape Simulator 2. And then I also picked up, because I want to go back and play, speaking of open world games, uh, I wanna go back and play Star Wars Outlaws, but it was on sale for cheap on PC, and I was like, "Kinda wanna get on PC. I wanna see what the visual difference is between console." Like, obviously, I can watch YouTube videos, but it's like they're compressed, but whereas I can put these up side by side on my monitor and look at them, and, like, yeah, it's just the visual fidelity that I get with the PC, mainly for draw distance, like, I don't like the fuzziness, and I can still run it at 60. So I restarted it on PC uh yesterday and then just like kind of speed ran through the opening bits to get back to the one world. And it's like because I liked what I was playing of and I really want to go back and play that. But now it's like I got a couple open world games I'm playing at the same time. Luckily it's like Cyberpunk and Star Wars are gonna be very different when I play
Hmm.
one's first person, one's third person. Um and then yeah, and then I've actually been playing a lot of StarCraft 2 as well. Like that's kind of I'm just against the AI. Like I don't know why. I just like, you know what, I kind of want to play StarCraft 2. So I've been playing StarCraft 2 against the AI. That's been a lot of fun replaying that game, just a bunch. I don't think I'll ladder at all. I don't need to deal with that. But yeah, just been playing that every now and then. Usually I'll play just a couple matches and then hop out. That's an easy one where I can play a little bit. I did hop back in since I'm not playing Arc Raiders consistently. I was like, you know what? I kind of want to hop back into Grease Warfare, and because that had a new update recently. It didn't have a refresh or a wipe, but it had some other stuff. Like, I haven't played it in a while. Let's go back in it. And man, the AI, like whatever they did to the AI, like they're way more aggressive. Also, they moved the 6 times scope that normally you can get pretty early. They moved it to a different vendor who takes a while to level up. And I'm like, damn it. So I don't have the 6 time, I only have a 4x. So now I have to be little bit closer than I'm used to on some point of interest that I'll run. So like the AI will just be super aggressive. Like they'll know, even though I have a suppressor on my gun, they know like dudes over here. I'm like, God damn it. It's like they're way more feisty than I recall. But it was so funny loading in. Because so they have, I talked about way back in the day, but they have all these like forward operating bases that each three faction of players can fight over. and you can see like, and typically, and the reason you take them is because you can use them as respawn points instead of, so if you die on a mission, you don't have to respawn back at your base. You can spawn at these forward operating bases, or maybe I think maybe they call them something else. Anyways, uh, so I logged in. None of them were taken. They were all empty, and there was no one on the server. I was like, everyone's playing Arc Raiders. Like they're not here at all. Um, but then I was on PvP, but when I went to the PvE server, that actually had some folks. But it was funny, like I logged in and like no one's there. I was like, man, I could like do a ton of leveling up if I went and just took all these bases and got XP and just took them all from my faction. So but I went out, it's like, oh, I'll go do this quest, I'll take this base, go do this thing. That's why I was like, damn, this AI is so aggressive. Did a quest and I heard a helicopter come into a landing zone. I was like, oh my God, someone's on the server. I was like, and I got super scared, which is what I love about the game. Like, oh, someone could be nearby. So I finished up my quest and I got out of there. But that was funny to go back into because it's been a while. But yeah, just having fun going back into Cyberpunk. That game's fun to play. I went back and quickly got some like guns that are like what they call iconic guns in that game that you can get like early on super quick. So I went and got those. It was funny because like one I remember like, oh, there's an iconic gun next to over here at this place. And I go and I went to go get it and I killed the person. I was like, where the hell's my gun? Where's my gun? And it's like I forgot that game has blueprints and you can craft. I was like, oh, that's right. It's a blueprint, and then I have to craft the gun
I
in
killed
order
this
to have it.
person for no reason.
And I was like, where did they go? Where are they? I was getting so frustrated. But yeah, that game's fun. Just the power trip you can have sometimes. Those guns are fun to use. So I look forward to playing that and then getting into the DLC at some point. Yeah, kind of just bouncing around between stuff. Not really sticking to one specific thing. Just waiting on a lot of stuff to come out. Maybe one day Sons of the Forest will hit console and we'll have crossplay and I can play it with Isley.
Didn't
I
it just get frustrated at me again though, like with the forest where I just wanted to build all the time and you're like, no,
Well,
we
that's
gotta go
fine.
here. This is the next location we gotta go to. And
I didn't get that frustrated.
I'm like, but my log cabin is not perfectly orthogonal. The walls are 89 degrees or 91 degrees instead of 90 degrees.
Yeah.
And you're like, we gotta move the base here.
Well, I was just saying, like, it's the safest spot. Guys, I thought it was funny. I was talking with another fellow streamer who's like,
Yeah, see, you
he
can't
would,
even deny it. You know you're like that.
well, it's just the one good spot because he was it to relate it to his story. He was like, he remembers playing the first forest back in the day, but he didn't have a good time. The group friends he was playing, like, all the candles goes, blah blah. And I'm like, well, typically you want to build in this one spot, which is the safest for the longest, so you have more time to onboard yourself to the game.
And I
Um,
wanted to build in the middle of the lake on the single log and
yeah,
expand out from
well,
that log so that it was like a water
yeah,
island
that's
base.
fine. If we didn't get there at nighttime, we
That's
can't
what I
see
wanted to
anything.
do.
Isley
That's
swimming
you
out to
can
the
do
middle
that.
of the lake and be like, I will build my house here.
Mm,
That's what I did. I was like, this
yeah.
spot's safe. It's in the middle of the lake. No one can get to me. And then it's like, but how do you build in the lake? And it's like, well, you got to connect it to land first, and then you got to demo all the connection parts. So I was
Mhm.
like wanting to do that, and then things weren't lined up properly. And JCM's like, just come build a base here. Put the tent down. Put the tent down.
We kept getting attacked. We kept getting attacked. And it was such a not a great spot where it was because that lake in particular is not a good location surrounded by where the enemies are. But
Yes, but
And
can
it
they
this
would
is
be
why
swim?
I have to play it by myself first,
yeah.
so that the second time I'm willing to just go to your location.
See, what's funny is in Sons of the Forest, there's this one landing spot you can have, like one of the starting locations that has like
You
a
don't
little
even like
lake.
base building. You should just let me build my base
I
wherever I want, and you can go
and you
off
let
with
me
your
finish.
tent.
I built my base on the water when I first played Sons of the Forest because I was like, "Oh, this will be fun." There's this little lake with a waterfall. I'll build on it, and it worked until winter came around and the water froze, and then all the enemies were able to get to my base, and that's when the big dude showed up, and I was like, "Bad spot." Then I was like, "Damn it!" And then I died. But there's a bigger water location that people like to build on. I don't know if the water freezes over because it's like a much bigger spot versus mine was like a little place, but you can build wherever you want in that game. Go ahead. I'll let you go to town. But
You go do
yeah,
whatever
I will allow you to
go build
provide
your house.
that feedback. Yeah,
I
I
will.
will allow you to provide that
It'll be your
feedback.
game, and I'll just drop in, drop out. It'll be so easy. But
You'll drop in
um,
and be like, "I trained all the monsters to you. Goodbye."
yeah, they had a big update back in January where they had more defensive wall blueprints, some rafts, some stuff like that. So it's like, okay, new things you can do. Plus, there's the hang glider in the game, so I can just like fly around and have fun looking at stuff. But yeah, so yeah, not sticking to a bunch of stuff myself, just playing, kind of bouncing around. between things. Don't know when I'll play that Clair Obscure DLC. You guys will have to play it first and then tell me what's up.
I'm worried I don't remember how to play the game.
It'll be easy.
I'm not sure if it
Yeah, just
matters. I
yeah,
don't
probably not.
remember I don't remember what I was doing. I knew that I remember that I respect my L to be the stupid broken. That was the last thing that
Mhm.
I did. But I don't know how to set it up anymore though. So, but I still want to play. It's fun. I want to any excuse to play it again.
For sure. Yeah. I probably would have played more, but I was in painting Warhammer stuff as well, trying to paint more stuff. Just having fun doing that. Plus, there's like been so much TV as well. It's like, okay, if I'm gonna watch these TV shows, I'll just paint Warhammer. Like I watched
Mhm.
movies are coming out now, and it's like, okay, I'll watch Wake Up Dead
There's
Man
there's some
while I
great
paint.
TV and movies coming out right now.
Yeah. Luckily, it'll be okay. Now, this will be the last episode of It Welcome to Derry, and then I don't have to worry about Stranger Things until Christmas and then and New Year's. So it's like I got plenty of time to not watch. I'm not watching Pluribus, so it's like I don't have to worry about anything taking up my time. I'm
Which
just
is
waiting
very
for
much just
movies.
fine so far. Welcome to Derry's great though, but Pluribus is definitely just like fine.
Yeah, I want. What was the movie? I want Predator Badlands to come out on VOD already, man. But so I can watch that, but I have to wait. All right. Well, I guess I'll go ahead and do it for this episode. A long one because again we talked about recap the Game Awards and because there was a lot shown there, a lot of new
Mhm.
stuff. I was kind of surprised. So yeah, good. I think it was the best trailer show of any of the shows this year between Summer Game Fest and GDC or
It
Gamescom.
it definitely had the most new game announcements and the best trailers of any of the video game shows.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, anytime
it's
something said
supposed to be an
2027,
award
I was
show.
like, Yeah,
Yes,
yep,
which
yep.
again,
The
yeah,
irony.
Yeah,
it was the best video game announcement show
yeah,
at the awards show that's not supposed to be about that when they have other
Right.
shows that are supposed to be about that.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I feel like for stuff like it's funny because like the trailers for like The Forest 3, like so short, like you could put that in between, like here's an award, and then it cuts to the trailer. And then you come back and like another award or something like, and then
Mhm.
then just put the big trailers in between do a couple awards, big trailer, couple awards, big trailer versus like a bunch of trailers, commercials. Yeah, I get it, but it's like I feel like you know how people say like, oh, Kojima needs someone like in his ear to rein him in. Like Keeley needs that for his when he's coming up with the show schedule and stuff.
Which
Like someone needs to rein
I
him
know
in.
we,
Yeah.
I know we already ranted about it, but like when Jeff Keighley first started the Game Awards and hosting and everything, I feel like the reason it gained so much traction is because people were like, "Wow, this is such a like short and tight and concise show," and they did a really good job just showing everything that's important to the actual gamers in the awards. And then every year since then, it just is like capitalism, capitalism, marketing, marketing,
Well,
and
yeah.
now we're back to E3. Like we've
Well,
gone full circle back to being the type of show that caused the Game Awards to exist in the first place because there wasn't enough recognition.
yeah, it had a good balance of, well, this is so much better than the Spike shows we used to have in the old award shows that he was part of, that it's like, oh, it's better now. Like it's more not legit, but like there's no bikini ladies on stage, all that stuff. Like the man, if you watch like the Spike Awards, sometimes
Mhm.
Min Max will do a thing where they rewatch old shows like old E3s or old Spike award shows, and it's like they're so what the fuck were we doing? But it's like yeah, like the ads he had at times like okay, it makes sense. You know, Schick Man, whatever, makes sense because he's doing it and he's helped funding it. But now it's like a point where it's like okay, we never did proper course correction after all this time and just kept getting a little too big. But I mean, like that every year it's like they say we get more and more viewers. So it's like if it's going to keep growing, you know, it's okay. But anyway, all right. Well, that's going to do it for this episode. Hopefully, I'll have tried routine this week and I can talk about it next week, and you guys can talk about the Player Expedition 33 DLC. But yeah, thank you all for tuning and listening. Thank you, Izzy. Thank you, Zai, for joining.
Yep.
Mhm.
And we'll see you all next time.
Later.
Bye.